On this episode of Big Drive Energy, we've got Mitch calling in from beautiful Grand Junction, Colorado. We're going to get his feel and preview of the Rocky Mountain Open this week, which he is one of the participants of. We're also going to discuss Viktor Hovland's dominant back nine, resulting in a win in the BMW and him being vaulted up the starting point for the Tour Championship this coming weekend, which we'll also talk about. Give you our picks for the Tour Championship. We'll get into why Mitchell hates the way it's laid out. Plus, some Jay Monahan comments. We always love those in the golf world. We'll get into those and dissect what our favorite commissioner said. And this is all brought to you by our presenting sponsor over at Pins and Aces. If you're not watching on the YouTube, I've got this beautiful purple Pins and Aces shirt on right now. I've got the hats in front of me and the hat on. Use the code BDE when you check out at pinsandaces.com. You'll save 15% off. I went and played a bachelor party round this weekend with my boys up at Pole Creek in Grand Lake. Beautiful golf course, 27 holes. We had a great time. My team dominated. I'll save that for the actual podcast. But long story short, I think of the 15 dudes, 8 or 9 of them had Pins and Aces gear on. All my friends love it. They use our code. They get the discounted gear. I've even got my friends' girlfriends texting me, not like that, to get our code and get their boyfriends and or husbands, fiancés, Pins and Aces gear for their birthday. It's all everybody wears. It's not your ordinary golf brand. They support all of our tournaments. If you ever play in one of our tournaments, you're going to get Pins and Aces gear. We got the new CHGO shirts for our Chicago tournament at Cog Hill this weekend. They are sick. Pins and Aces, the best golf gear in the land. They've got new collabs coming every day. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collab is currently out, along with the South Park collab, where they're adding more things to it, but you don't know about that. Only we know about that. Now you know. So use that code BDE for 15% off plus free shipping at pinsandaces.com. All right, let's tee it up.
Hello, friends. Welcome to this tradition unlike any.
What was that, Chair? Did somebody scream mashed potatoes?
That was mashed.
Look at you, looking so good. He asked me if he should put a Pins and Aces hat on, and I said, no, that fucking lettuce is blowing in the wind. That is going to stock up our YouTube views, 100p.
The lettuce does look surprisingly good. I just got off the golf course about a half hour ago for my practice round. So out here in Grand Junction, I'm out in the backyard of my Airbnb. Actually a pretty cool setup. I did get relegated outside. My girlfriend is inside working, making real money to pay for my dreams. So here we are out in the backyard. Just got done with my practice round at the Rocky Mountain Open. The course, it is so weird. So it's played at Tirado Golf Club out here in Grand Junction. And it's a cool track. Like, it's like 6,500 yards. It's short. But the main thing that they do, which I'm not a huge fan of, is they put trees in such perfect spots that, like, off the tee, it fucks you up. So even off the tee, so the second hole, for example, is a 460-yard par 5, 465-yard par 5. But the fairway runs out at like 230, and then there's two massive trees with about a 20-yard gap in between, and then there's fairway after it about 160 out and in, 160 and in. But I can't hit it that far. So, like, I hit 3-wood today, and I was in the rough, like, kind of in between the trees, but I caught a shitty lie. So I hit 3-wood hybrid. But the course is just so wet, and they keep it so like watered, and it's nice and green. Don't get me wrong, but it plays so much worse when it's wet, and I just don't know why they continue to soak the place. Like the greens are not that fast yet. Hopefully that changes by Thursday because I actually got the speeds dialed in pretty well, but I always prefer fast greens just because it's easier. You make a smaller stroke, you keep it online easier. Um, but I feel pretty good about it overall. I played the front nine with a couple dudes in probably their late 20s. They were both car salesmen. So they were able to take, and that's just the kind of funny thing about these mini tour events is you never know who you're going to get paired with or whatever. There is a pro-am tomorrow, which I opted to not play in because I don't enjoy 6-hour rounds. That's another thing with these mini tour events is they put on pro-ams. It's just a fucking nightmare. But I played with two car salesman dudes. Definitely, they were high as shit. They offered me some weed. I told them I would be under a tree over off to the side of the fairway if I tried to smoke weed and play golf. But super fun dudes. And then I ended up playing the back nine by myself. And so this is kind of annoying because they don't designate these public courses don't designate a day for practice rounds unless you play the pro-am and they consider that your practice round, which like I said, I was out on.
So are the used car salesmen not in the tournament, or are
No,
they? Oh,
no,
I was like, oh fuck, that's hilarious.
no. They were like, "Oh, there's a tournament here this week." Or you like, what is it? Like that's just the kind of setup that it is. It is like a true mini tour event, but they do a very good job of running it. It's a guaranteed $100,000 purse, 25 grand for first place. So that's a pretty damn good payout for a mini tour event. They've always had a lot of really good sponsors that stick with them every year, and so it is a very well run event for non-affiliated, no real, just kind of doing their own thing type of event. They've been doing it for years. So uh but the back nine, I do have a little bone to pick because I had this group. It was all like, I don't know what it was, but it was all older guys out in front of us. And then a lot of the guys playing their practice round I saw behind me. So they teed off after me. I teed off right at like 11 o'clock. So I will preface it with like I played in 4 hours and 40 minutes, but the group in front of me, it was four older guys. They were two full holes behind the group in front of them. And they saw me as a single behind them. I would pull up to them on every tee box. I was even playing two balls on the back nine, but they still did not let me through. And I would have finished probably a half hour earlier if they would have just let me through as a single. And they looked back at me a million fucking times and just kept plugging along, they were legitimately hitting drivers about 80 yards. Like they were hitting little fucking chip wedges off the tee and just beating it around. And I have no problem with that. But if you have a single behind you as a foursome, and mind you, then there was another foursome behind me that was like two holes behind. So they would have had nobody pressuring them if they would have just let me play through. So that was my kind of bone to pick. I was a little frustrated because I just wanted to get it done with. Like I've played the course before. It's been probably 3 or 4 years, but I just wanted to just see it again and, kind of get a feel for it. So there's some tight tee shots. You got to hit wedges well. But it's a fun track. I just wish it wasn't fucking soaked. Like every single tee shot I had was a mud ball. And I doubt that is the one thing with these tournaments is like, I've played it where it's been this soaked and we haven't played lift clean in place. For what reason, I could not tell you. Sorry, I don't know if you're hearing this traffic behind me here. Somebody's street racing. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, it's
dick.
just, yeah. My Airbnb is about a mile from a school, and apparently school just got out, so there's a bunch of traffic. Anywho, I just wish we'd play lift clean in place, but we are probably not going to. So I'm just gonna have mud all over my ball all weekend. So that's just my gripe. But overall, I'm really looking forward to it. I have nothing to do tomorrow, so we're gonna hit some wineries, get a little into one,
Get a
and
little
hope.
The real tourney prep starts tomorrow at the wineries, not the fucking practice round.
I'm not. And there is here real quick. I have to shout out this one spot. There's this place called Peach Street Distillery out here, and it is fire. Like they do like peach slushies.
I've been there.
Okay.
Yeah, the place is gas.
I am going to be parked at that bar tomorrow, just lighting up peach slushies.
So you're going to shoot 78 the first day, is what you're saying?
No, I mean I've played well hungover. If I play early Thursday, I'll try to keep it somewhat low key tomorrow. But definitely like the day I tee off late, I'm going to get into one. There's really no reason for me not to. I'm out here to kind of have a good time and enjoy myself. The golf, I wouldn't call the golf secondary, but I don't fucking do this for a living. Some of these guys, and I actually will say I saw a handful of dudes like Zakai Brown, a couple other guys out playing their practice round today, all in pins and aces gear. I saw a lot of pins and aces gear at the event or the practice round today. And the dude I was playing with, I mentioned something about pins and aces. He goes, "Oh, dude, I have like so much golf stuff. They're just like these golf junkie, like late 20, just got into golf, obsessed with gear and all that." And I look in his bag and he has a pins and aces head cover. And I'm like, that's pins and aces, right? He's like, "Oh shit, no, I didn't know that." And I'm just like, "Yeah."
Did you hit him with our code?
I should have. No, I didn't.
Dude, you're fucking you literally work for the company. Figure it out.
It was in passing, and they were just chiefing it down. They were smoking so much weed, I didn't want to get in the way.
That's fair.
Actually, one of the dude's daughters was with him, was like 5, and she was just sitting on the iPad. And then she would just scream at like the most inopportune times, not for me, but like on the 9th hole, he was literally in his backswing, and she's like, "Dad!" Like 5 feet from him, he tops the shit out of it. Like it was pretty funny. But overall, it was a good day. I can't complain. It got a little bit of rain, but I feel like I'm going to be ready to roll on Thursday. The biggest thing for me is going to be putting. The greens are a little nuanced and they're a little tougher. So if I can make a few and hit some good wedges, then I should be good. So
yeah, so it's a pretty short course. Give us kind of I know you kind of went into it, but give us where are the teeth in the greens? Is there a lot of like is there any blind shots? Is it just really tight? What is I've never played out there, so is it like desert course where if you miss the fairway and then you miss the rough a little bit, which I tend to do fairly often, and then it's like desert? Or is it just like a Parkland style, all the holes are together type of scenario?
Yeah, it's more Parkland style. The view of like the rocks up to like the west side of the course is awesome, but it is Parkland style, like a lot of big trees in between fairways. This is pretty outrageous to me. On the 11th hole, so the 10th and 11th hole run parallel to each other, and there's kind of a pond about, like, it doesn't come into play on the 10th hole, but it's about 290, 300 out on the 11th hole, so it won't come into play for me because it's so wet. I was hitting driver like 270 all over the place today, which is fucking annoying. But they have in-course out of bounds on only 11.
The worst fucking thing in the world.
Oh,
that
dude.
Is the most annoying thing in the entire planet of the history of the world.
Yeah, I actually thought about how much you would hate it because it legitimately goes up the right
You're
edge
thinking
of the
about me. You were thinking about me, huh?
I was thinking about you because they have like the 3 feet of secondary cut and then the legit rough. It goes right up to the secondary cut. Like you can't hit it in the right rough on 11 and be in bounds. Like if you hit it right of the fairway, you're out of bounds. So it is like, but then on the left side of the fairway, like 270 out, there's this massive fucking oak tree that's overhanging. So like I hit drivers kind of into the wind today. And I had like 200 yards in, which is fucking ridiculous because it's like a 470-yard hole. But I had to hit 4-iron and I had to like keep it under the tree in front of me because I was right in the middle of the fairway. So, I also had another thing happen today that's literally never happened to me before. So I was playing 2 balls on the back 9. I hit my second tee shot on 11. I was just trying to like step on it. So I hit it a little left and it hit a tree and then it bounced like right into the edge of the next fairway. And this kid, like, definitely hit my ball. So I go over and I'm like, "Hey, did you guys see a ball over here?" And it was a Pro V1. Like I'm not trying to fucking give it to somebody.
Yeah,
And
we don't have the we don't know free balls. That's $3 ball right there.
yeah,
We're
no.
not giving those out.
So the kid goes, "Oh." So I look down. He goes, "Is this your ball?" I'm like, "This is a Callaway." And so he goes, "Oh, I must have hit your ball." And then just proceeds to not even offer to go get it and give it to me. Like he was like, "So sorry, dude. You can have that ball." I'm like, "What?" Like you and I was like so incensed in my mind for like 10 minutes about it. I'm like, "Why the fuck would you just think that it's okay to like if you knowingly hit my ball that you just say sorry and you just keep it?" And
You
he's
just
like, "You can have this one." I'm like,
was
"What
probably
is
like a Callaway fucking like
super
super
soft?"
soft
Yeah, I'm like, "It's a
orange
fine
super
ball, but
soft.
it's not a Pro V1." I'm like, "What the fuck, dude?" And finally, I was just like, "Just go ahead and keep it, man." And he's like, "Oh, thanks." I'm like, "You made your ball. It's 100 yards up in the fairway, and you're just like staring at it, like, oh, that's your ball over there. Sorry, I hit it, but I'm not gonna go get it for you." It's like, what the fuck, dude? People like that. I was really like thinking about being that asshole and being like, "Go get my ball for me. Go get my ball." And like it just what goes through people's minds when they think that you hit somebody else's ball, you own up to it. Either that or just be like, "No, I didn't see anything." You know?
So
It
you'd rather him like lied to you and said he didn't see your ball than
Yeah. Yeah, I would have been fine with that, but he's like, "Oh yeah, I hit it. It's up there in the fairway. Sorry.
why
You
don't you
don't want
walk your
to."
ass up there and fucking punch shot it back to me? I'll wait right here.
Yeah. Oh, dude. So that did piss me
Were
off.
you in a cart or were you walking?
I was in a cart. Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
dude, I would have fucking hightailed that cart right back and grabbed that ball out of the fairway.
Yeah, I should have, but in like I was just so past it at that point. I was like, "What a fucking douchebag."
Yeah, that's a pretty big douchebag move. I feel that.
Yeah.
So where like realistically, you've been practicing a fair amount. I mean, granted, like Jim Canals is playing in this fucking Zakai Brown, like you said. There's some
Is
good players out there. Yeah.
Oh fuck. There's
But no, realistically, let's take out like the competition and you being, you're not a full-time professional. What do you think is a realistic score that you can shoot? And like, what is your goal, if you will? But like, what are you going to like, yeah, maybe you don't win the tournament at 21 under, but like if you leave there shooting this, what are you happy with?
if I finish anything under par, I'll be happy. I definitely think I can. It just depends on, like I said, if I can putt well and make a few putts. But yeah, if I can, I have a feeling, like you said, I haven't played tournament golf in like 4 years, so that kind of makes it a little bit tougher because you get in the heat of battle and there's just nothing like it. I am looking forward to it. It just if you don't do it that often, it's kind of hard to just jump back into. But I feel like one day I might shoot like one or two over, and then one day I'll maybe be able to get it under par. Like I either see it going like so it's a par 70, so I either see it going like 71, 73. I feel like one day I'm going to shoot in between 71 and 73, and then hopefully one day I can throw like a 67, 68 out there. And I really don't know what the cut's going to be because they take the top 40 pros, and I think
There's
probably
107 I just counted.
there's 107 pros in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Okay, so the cut might be under par then. In years past, it's been around even or maybe a few over, but I guess we'll find out. I'm just gonna go out and get a good experience and kind of be better for it, and just get some tournament golf under my belt again. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see how you do, man. I think you, like I said, you've played. This isn't like me showing up for a tournament where I don't play a ton of tournament golf and kind of just hope that I have like one of those days where there's a horseshoe up my asshole. But like I feel like you've actually got the game for it, and no offense, you know what your game is, but like it's cool that it's maybe a little tighter course where just because you hit it 350 or don't, it's not going to benefit. Like you're not out here just needing to carry 280 on certain par, like a par 5 that you can hit 3-wood hybrid is that benefits you. Like you're like
yeah,
the Brian Harmon of this tournament, where I feel like if you're and you hit driver good enough and long enough that if you hit driver well and you have flip wedges in and you're not looking for a ton of balls, which you're normally not anyways, like you said, it just comes down to you making a few putts and hitting wedges close enough. Did you fix? So tell everyone about your little gap wedge scenario. Are you going to throw anything different in the bag, or are you just rolling with that?
No, I'm rolling with it. I feel like I kind of got it sorted out. I got new sticks about a month and a half ago, or about a month ago, and I like every single club except the gap wedge was just giving me, like, I was hitting like 5 yards further than my sand wedge, and it made absolutely zero sense. But I feel like now that I've just been able to get more reps in with the new clubs, and in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have just gotten new sticks for no reason this summer. If I was trying to like play in any tournament golf or whatever, but here we are. So yeah, the gap wedge just was giving me fits. And then I realized that like it's super low bounce. So for those of you who don't know what bounce is, it's basically the sole of the club, how it interacts with the ground and how much more likely it is to like bounce off the ground or like stick in the ground. So it's lower bounce. So it has more of a tendency to like stick in the ground versus coming out of the turf and like jumping out of the turf. So they generally say on wetter golf courses, you want to play a higher bounce because it interacts with you're less likely to just stick a club in the ground. It doesn't have as like sharp of a leading edge, things like that. So I realized that my gap wedge is only 7 degrees of bounce. So it's a little bit lower bounce than I'm used to. So I actually have to hit it a little bit differently than I would normally hit my other gap wedge. So I don't know if it's good that I'm trying to conform to my golf clubs at this point, as opposed to like my golf clubs just fitting my game. But also my game is, kind of forever changing. Unless you're a PGA Tour player, your game is always changing a little bit here and there. So I'm going to make it work. But yeah, it had me fucked up for a bit. I was like, why am I hitting gap wedge? Like I hit sand wedge 105. Why am I hitting gap wedge like 112? Like there's just some shots that I hit with it where I'm like, where did that come from? So I may definitely try to avoid the gap wedge number, which is traditionally about 120 for me here at altitude. But I will also say we're at about 4,000 feet elevation. So the ball still goes further than sea level, but it doesn't go quite as far. So that's a little bit of an adjustment. But yeah, overall, I feel pretty good about almost all parts of my game. I just, the putting is like, I hit a few putts today. Like there's 10 footers that break 4 feet, 5 feet. So the greens are, I wouldn't call them janky. They're very sloped and you just kind of got to know what you're doing. So I definitely don't have a leg up there. If the course is playing firm, I feel like I would have a leg up on a lot of the bigger hitters because then, they can't fly. There's a couple of par fours that are like 300, 310. And with these dudes, like Zakai Brown can carry at 330, 340 with the driver. So he could probably carry 3-wood to that green. So that kind of neutralizes my advantage there, where today I hit 5-iron and had 100 yards in, because there's really no like front landing area. You have to like fly it all the way to the green or you're pretty much hosed. So there is a few holes that I do have a disadvantage on because it's softer. Because otherwise these guys, if the greens were really firm, these guys would not be trying to hit driver or 3-wood and land it on the green because it would be gone. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting out there and teeing it up and get the competitive juices flowing again. I can't fucking talk.
Love that. Go from the alcoholic juices to the competitive juices, just like a regular old club pro like we are. It's fucking
yep,
beautiful.
Exactly.
Sure.
I hit the sauce after the round pretty hard and just have a good time.
Exactly. Short course, tough greens sounds like my fucking nightmare. All right, before we get into Viktor Hovland taking down Scottie Scheffler, which we all love to see, I want to tell you guys about our favorite golf course in Colorado that we go to practice at, we go to play at. Not only is the golf course great, they've got 27 holes, including a 9-hole par 3, but that's Broken Tee Golf Club. We had our tournament there in July, and it's a good golf course, but even better vibes. Like the pros there are the coolest dudes we've ever met. Kind of reminded us of ourselves. Like I'm sure people would roll into Spring Valley the last couple of years we worked there, and be like, who the fuck are these guys? Why is this kid with a mullet the one I'm meeting? And who's running this place? And when, it was like that meme where I'm the manager. Someone's like, can I speak to the manager? And I just do a 360 and be like, hello, how can I help you? They're like, no fucking way. But no, Broken Tee is one of the most fun courses. It's a good track. It's tough. It's tougher. We started playing it more consistently this year, and the back nine's tougher than you think. There's a lot of like really tight areas to hit it in. But they, like I said, 18-hole championship course, a challenging par 3. They've got a great stacked pro shop, great gear in there, including DNVR, pins and aces, polos. They are the first pro shop to carry that. So once we go massive with these, they'll be the ground floor. Also have a new renovated restaurant with a new owner, Jared over at Wyatt's. It's Wyatt's at Broken Tee. Jared, he runs that place, and it is phenomenal. We had a Bloody Mary bar for our tournament there, and I can personally tell you it was phenomenal. They've got great teaching pros and an outstanding range as well. They've got Meta Golf over there. So they're running a charity tournament Friday, September 22nd. Prizes supporting the Bridge House Tri-Cities Homeless Action Team's effort to open a navigation center that will provide a facility for community members struggling with homelessness to receive temporary shelter, connect with services, and create a pathway out of homelessness for good. You can get 10% off any round of golf at the regulation course using the code DNVR10. If you go to BrokenTeeGolf.com, make a tee time, you get that. Use that code as a promo code when you book your tee time, and you're saving 10% off at Broken Tee Golf Club. One of the things that we love to hit up, this is one of the best partners we've ever had, and that's Breckenridge Distillery. We sit out by the fire and drink Breck Distillery in my backyard as roommates. It's great. Fire nights are the best nights, and they're only made better by Breckenridge Distillery, the official bourbon of the Denver Broncos. There's a battle of the blends between Ed McCaffrey and Alfred Williams, so they get to choose kind of how the blend is made at the distillery, and then we get to vote on it and choose who wins and who has the better Breck Distillery bourbon. You can win 2 tickets to the Breck Bourbon Whiskey Suite for the Broncos-Chargers game on New Year's Eve. I don't know a better way to spend a New Year's Day, which is a Sunday, rolling into a New Year's Eve than being in the Breckenridge Bourbon Whiskey Suite. I might have to get carried out of that if I win. But you can post your favorite Broncos photos to IG and Facebook using the hashtag BreckBourbon. And then it will be narrowed down to 10 favorites on December 1st, and a fan vote will go through December 4th through 10th. Most votes wins tickets and Distillery Broncos swag as well. So head over to BreckenridgeDistillery.com/bourbon-of-Denver-Broncos. Get yourself entered in that contest. Win 2 sweet tickets in the Whiskey Suite at Olympia Field at Mile High. Breckenridge Distillery is more than award-winning spirits. They have a great guest experience up at the distillery in Breckenridge, the world's highest distillery. Enjoy show-stopping cocktails, learn about their highly enhanced spirits with an in-depth tasting, and get an inside look at how they produce all of their Breck Distilleries, whiskeys, bourbons. They even have gin, which I'm not a big gin guy, but I'll drink Breck Distillery gin. We'll have them at our tailgates, and we always have a Breck Distillery bottle in our house. Just kind of a thing we always drink. And their new Ricky seltzers are also phenomenal. We'll have those at tailgates as well. We have those down here at the DNVR bar. You can get a bucket for $25, which I go through a bucket pretty quickly, but it's $25, and theirs are made with Breckenridge spirits. So it's not like this canned cocktail that's made with shitty liquor. It's like a canned cocktail made with Breck Distillery. So you got the best of both worlds there, and I've never tasted a good canned cocktail until Ricky Spirits, and I'm not just saying that. It's the truth. I've tried to drink the Cutwater, tried to drink the other ones that won't be named at Ball Arena, and just don't like them. Ricky Spirit, I can chug those down. They're phenomenal. So go to BreckenridgeDistillery.com. You can get home delivery in all 50 states of the awarded Breckenridge Spirits. All right. My round at Grand Lake, we won't talk too much about it, but this is kind of the difference in our golf is me playing like 4-person bachelor party scrambles and you playing like actual tournament golf. That just describes the difference in our games in a nutshell. But I will say I balled the fuck out, to be honest with you. We played Pole Creek. Me, my buddies Austin and Logan. Logan's like I'd say probably 15 to 18 handicap. Austin's probably a 30, 35, and we shot 10 under 62. And it was kind of funny because we kept, in a scramble when all your buddies are back to back, they keep telling you like, what are you under par? What are you this? And we were saying what we were, and they didn't believe it. And then on the 18th hole, I big dicked it, and I hit like a massive drive. It was a par 4. We were playing one up tees, so it wasn't like I was hitting from the back tees, but it was a par 5, and we only had 120 in, or 115. I hit it like 350 off the tee, and then I hit a sand wedge to like 25 feet and just buried the eagle with everybody watching. So right there, that one hole got us like third place, and then we played the other 17 and 8 under. So pretty fun time, great golf course, and it's just so fun playing a scramble because I get to just bomb and gouge, and I've never played the course before, so there's some tough areas where you don't really know where to hit it, but I could kind of get a feel for Austin and Logan were putting out there ideally in the fairway, and then I could hit whatever I wanted and hit a lot of driver and kind of work the ball. Scrambles are what they are. They're a lot of fun to play in. We've got one coming up September 22nd, Kings Deer Golf Club down in Monument. Make sure you get signed up for that. But they're fun because you can like work on your game and work on things that you normally wouldn't, and so like, and it's another like test of your game because it can put you in spots that you're not normally in and really like test your game from different areas.
Totally. Yeah. I will say that you might be the best scramble player I've ever played with. Like your game is just so built for scrambles because you can hit the drive, you can hit driver very far. You do not lack like any aggressiveness whatsoever. You always will hit driver wherever you possibly can. And you do make some putts from time to time. Like you drop in some long ones, you hit some good putts. Your iron, you just this is not a knock on you, but when you have no pressure on your golf game, you are like a phenomenal player. Like your level, your ceiling of golf is way higher than my ceiling of golf. If you were hitting all your best shots all the time, you would beat the shit out of me on a consistent basis. So what you actually are like, you are getting more consistent with the driver and the longer clubs. So, but yeah, whenever I play with you in a scramble, like whenever I get invited to play in a scramble, I'm like, I'm not really like, I'm a good player, obviously, but I'm like, if Brian Harmon were to show up to a scramble and everyone's like, well, you don't hit it that far, you don't do anything like that special. And you're not usually like chipping, you're not missing greens in a scramble. So, cause I'd say chipping's a good part of my game. But then, the place I contribute most is putting, but not everybody has like a hot putting day in a scramble. So I just am not really built for that. I'm built to play my own ball, just kind of fend for myself out there. And Spencer's built to carry a whole scramble team on his back and just hit 330-yard drives and make a few 20-footers along the way.
Yeah, it's fun. And when I play scrambles, I'm always the first to putt because I'm such a bad putter. Like getting a line doesn't help me. And I think you're selling yourself a little bit short. You're pretty deadly with wedges and iron shots. And you're the guy that everybody loves in a scramble because you can go first off the tee and hit it right down the middle. And it's not saying you're hitting it 220. You're not that, you're discounting yourself a little bit on how your distance, especially with you swinging it a little harder this year and really going after it. But you're the guy that everyone loves. You're a staple in a scramble team. I'm a wild card, but you're a staple, and every team needs those.
I'm just, there's nothing flashy about my golf game. Like nobody's like, oh wow, ooh, like that's when you hit driver, the audio is different. Like everybody, I mean, this has just turned into a suck fest of each other. But when Spencer hits driver, double donging it here, but Spencer's skiing over there in the studio. But Spencer his audio sounds different. Like he has that ability to create that club head speed. When I hit it, it's just like fucking, it's just a little Easton tink, like out there, like when Mima hits the 3-wood and it's just like the old Callaway Big Bertha, just tink right off the tee. That's more what I sound like. So no, that's why you and I do so well in scrambles together and even best balls for the most part, because I'm the consistent one, you're the wild card, but you just have a flashier golf game. And that is the thing I've noticed with like in a scramble, hitting a decent shot doesn't mean shit, or like you miss a ball, but it's a good miss. Nobody thinks about like your bad shots in a scramble. They only remember the really good shots because everybody hits bad shots in a scramble. So me not having that ability to like hit the 330-yard drive kind of makes it worse for me to play in a scramble because everyone's like, well, what did Mitchell really do that was memorable today? Like, yeah, I hit it 280 in every fairway and fucking maybe made a few 10-footers. But other than that, they don't walk away like I said, there's just nothing flashy about my golf game. So I do have to give you props there because you bring the flash.
I appreciate that. And we wear our pins and aces gear. I always make sure I look good on the golf course. So if I don't play good, at least part of my day, I look good in my own eyes, and that's all that really matters.
Part of my day is I look good.
Part of my day is I wake up, look good.
Wasn't it Deion Sanders that says look good, feel good, play good? Like
that could have been.
I think Deion was the OG, like love the outfits and like that. But that is kind of a truth in golf. Like if you don't know what you're doing, you might as well look good doing it. But Pins and Aces is kind of the perfect brand too because it's not so uppity that like it's not Titleist, it's not FootJoy, it's not any of these like old school, Peter Millar, things like that. I don't want to give him any free plugs, but those are more like you look at that dude and he's meant to be a stick. Like Pins and Aces, good players wear it and not so good players wear it. So you can rock it and nobody has any expectation that you're going to be some baller, but it just looks good. Like it's just a great outfit.
Yeah, they've got joggers as well, which I still haven't gotten into those. I'm gonna go to the warehouse again tomorrow, so I'm gonna see if I can snag some joggers because I look damn good in a pair of joggers. I'm working on my wagon, so I'm, hopefully once I get that nice and buttoned up, I can look good and really good in some joggers. But I still don't know if I could actually wear them on the golf course. Like we're very new school, but something about me, like I wear pants every time I play golf, every time. I wore shorts once this year, and it was a disaster. We played at Overland Park, and there was flies and bees and fucking mosquitoes, and I hated it. Like I'll tan my calves at the pool. I'm not a non-pants guy.
I think that day at Overland Park, what was that like? Where the flies like took over the world.
Lord of the Flies.
I don't think Lord of the Flies is actually about flies. I was gonna say Lord of the Flies. But yeah, that was an anomaly because I've been wearing shorts all summer, partially just because I'm a thick boy. So I don't need any extra heat. Like I'm already hot no matter what. I just look out the window and it makes me hot. So I do wear the shorts, but I will say the Pins and Aces joggers are very actually comfortable and like they allow a lot of like ventilation through. So you don't really feel like you're wearing like super restrictive, like heavy pants by any means.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into Viktor Hovland. We have a victory, and I don't think any of us, other than the fact that we bet on him a ton and he never win. He's now, well, this week we didn't bet on him, so it was fun to see him win because we didn't. You bet on Scottie, not on the card, but Mitchell's into the Bet365 boosties, which are killing it for him actually. He finally cashed out a betting account for once in his life, which is shocking.
It's the first time I've ever made money betting.
Yeah, but Viktor Hovland won, which kind of, us not betting on him made it a little annoying, but he's one of the good ones that we never don't like to see win. Unlike Scottie Scheffler, who he ended up beating, we don't ever love seeing Scheffler win. But an incredible 28 on the back nine. And like this was such a tough course all week. And if he would have just shot what he shot on the back nine, I think he would have been like top 10. If he would have been even par for, 63 holes, and then did what he did on the back nine, he would have gotten a top 10 in that tournament. He ends up winning it. Just incredible heater. He made 3 on every single hole other than the par 5, and he made a 4, so he made birdie. Your thoughts on Viktor Hovland winning, what that means going into the Tour Championship, and just kind of your overall thoughts of Olympia Fields next year, that BMW Championship. It was a cool Instagram post that they had. They did like the Wikipedia page of a location, and they like deleted Olympia Fields and showed them typing Castle Rock, Colorado. So very excited to have the BMW out with the top 50 players on the PGA Tour next year, right in our backyard, or not your backyard anymore, my backyard, bitch. But what did you think of Viktor Hovland winning? Does it shock you at all that Scottie, like, kind of, if he gets a lead and he was making a few putts on Sunday, it's kind of surprising to see him lose. Like, that's how good he is.
Yeah, it is very rare that he gives up a lead, just because even though he doesn't make a lot of putts, he's so like suffocating with the lead because he never hits bad shots. Like, you feel like the door is never really open. But the cool part of it is that Viktor actually went out and beat him. Like, Scottie didn't beat himself. You know, he didn't play bad golf on Sunday. Viktor just went apeshit on that back nine, shot 28. And Viktor is another one of those guys too, where you see him week in, week out, and he hits it so well, and he just does not make putts to, like, and you're like, if he was making putts this week, he'd win. And I think that was just like last week on the back nine, he started to roll a few in, and then it is crazy how your game tee to green kind of carries that momentum when you're making putts, because it's so like, it's almost ass backwards that when you're putting better, you hit it better, but it's because you're not putting pressure on yourself to hit it close because you feel like you can make putts. So I know personally when I feel like I'm rolling it well, it takes some pressure off my game tee to green, which then in turn frees me up and I just hit it better. So it is kind of an ass backwards thing how that works, but yeah, Viktor is not a dude that I hate seeing win. I actually did, like you said, I had a little ticket on Scottie Scheffler, so I thought that was kind of a foregone conclusion. I was drunk at my one Rockies game of the year that I like to go to. Fuck the Momforts. I hate their ownership. Anywho, but I just kind of figured it was just like a throwaway, like Scottie was going to win it, no questions asked. And then I'm looking at Twitter and Hovland's going on this crazy run. So yeah, I'm very happy for the guy. Olympia Fields looks like a great classic track. Did you look at the bottom of the leaderboard? It is kind of funny, because these dudes, oh, did I lose it? Nope, it's right here. Taylor Moore, because since it's the playoffs, there's no cut. Taylor Moore shot 18 over for 4 days this last week.
Oh God, I didn't see that. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So Taylor Moore shot 18 over. Seamus Power shot 14 over. Nick Taylor shot 10 over. Lee Hodges shot 7 over. Jason Day 7 over. Go down the list. But that, like, I'm not trying to shit talk the PGA Tour, and maybe I am in a little bit of a way. But in what year do you ever feel like there's a dude in the top 50 in the PGA Tour standings that would go out and fire 18 over? And there's a difference too, like where you can win early in the season, get up higher in the standings, and then go through a lull. But Taylor Moore just won 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and same with Lee Hodges. Both of them won in the last month and just absolutely got obliterated by Olympia Fields.
Yeah, there is just certain dudes that you're like, what are you doing here? Like, and don't get me wrong, they're fucking million times better at golf than I am. Just in the grand scope of the PGA Tour, I look at that and I'm like, the back end of the field has gotten, in my eyes, a little bit weaker. With it felt like the top 50 back in the day, not even back in the day, but the last few years, has still been some very recognizable names, maybe older dudes or whatever. And now those dudes are just like on the live tour. So, actually, I got to give a quick shout out. I don't want to get derailed on our PGA Tour deal here, but the Asian Tour played at what was the course in England this week? I think it was Ian Poulter's home course in Sheffield, England, or not Sheffield. Anywho, Ian Poulter was able to play. His son was in the field and actually made the cut. His son's a very good golfer they're from England, but he plays at University of Florida. And then Lee Westwood's son also is able to play in it. I don't know if it's a sponsor's exemption or what, but I don't know if he made the cut or not. But both Poulter's and Westwood's sons are both very good sticks. So I think it's just cool that golf is one of the few sports. You got baseball. You had Ken Griffey Jr. and Senior, whatever. Tony Gwynn. Didn't the Gwynns play together?
No, I don't think they actually played together
Okay,
on the baseball field.
But they played at the same time.
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
I think Tony Gwynn's older than you think he is.
Well, Tony Gwynn's passed
Senior.
away. Okay.
Is he?
Yeah.
No longer of this earth?
I don't want to make this dark, but I just thought it was very cool that Luke Poulter got the opportunity to play with his dad in an event and actually play well. And same with I think it's Sam Westwood, Lee Westwood's son. So that was pretty cool. And honestly, like, you look at that field over on the Asian Tour this week, it was pretty fucking stacked. The golf landscape just in general is going to be interesting. I think we will look back at this single year of the PGA Tour and just be like, that was such a weird, I feel like we're in limbo right now. Everybody's trying to enjoy the golf, and there has been a lot of good golf, and I'm not trying to downplay anybody's victories and success this year, but I think these upcoming years are going to be a lot more exciting coming down the stretch in the playoffs at the PGA Tour with hopefully all the best players in the world again, because that's really what we want to see. That's what the PGA Tour is. It's the best tour in the world, and I just want to see it get back to that. But overall, this last week, very star-studded, top of the leaderboard. Rory McIlroy threw in his classic top 10. Nobody gives a shit.
Well, I want to go back to one of your points real quick with the Viktor Hovland, how great he hits it and can't make putts. Who are your top three? And I think they're mine too. Who are your top three players on tour that fit that description? That they hit it better than almost everyone else, but can't make anything when it matters.
Yeah. So I think obviously we both have Scheffler and we both have Hovland. You got to give me a little bit of a.
You just talked about him. That's what reminded me of it. It's Rory, dude.
Rory
can't make shit. He hit it to and he was kind of still in contention this past Sunday on, I believe, the one par 5 on the back, which was 12 or 13. He hits this insane 5-iron from 230 to 8 feet and misses the putt. Doesn't even hit the hole. And it's not like in golf, I was talking today with some people at the office about the killer instinct. And I don't necessarily see it to that, the clutch factor killer instinct of making putts, because you're talking about Rory and Scottie who have won a ton of events. But just the guys that you feel like it should be just easier on the putting green. You see some guys out there just making everything. And they're not near as good as these guys, but it evens the playing field for them. But it just goes to show, in golf in general, and especially even on the PGA Tour, the best players in the world, comparatively speaking, they're so bad at certain things compared to their cohorts or their competitors,
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, look at Scottie's putting numbers this season alone, or he's fucking outside the top 150 and he's leading the FedEx Cup. So his ball striking is otherworldly, but I just lost my train of thought. The Rory thing definitely this is what it was. I was going to say, I feel like Tiger kind of set a unfair expectation of what we think is elite golf, because he just had that killer instinct. Every time he'd hit it into 10 feet, you knew he was making it. It felt like every time he needed to make a 10-footer, it was being made. So maybe it is now the era of, TrackMan and all the numbers and analyzing everything, tee to green, because putting is the one thing that really statistically there's no way to visibly improve. You know what I mean? You can stroke it perfect, but you can't read the greens. Physically speaking, you can improve your ball striking by just getting on a launch monitor, or doing practice stuff like that.
Practice. I love doing the practice.
Doing the practice definitely helps. But technology is the only place it really hasn't been able to, and it will never make somebody better, is putting. So it is kind of the great equalizer, but I just wish we could see some more Killer Instinct. And my Bet365 account wishes that Scottie Scheffler would have won. It would have been, I think, a couple $100. So that would have been nice to gamble on college football this weekend with a little bit of a padded account. But here we stand.
I just got excited. You talking about college football this weekend. That's incredible. Well, let's talk about Bet365. And so we do bet on college football. We bet on golf, but that's not the extent of it. We won't be tweeting out picks each week for college football because we don't want to make you all poor. But we're going to be betting on college football. We're going to be betting on golf throughout the end of the year on Bet365. So we've been using these each way bets for golf, which is awesome. And we'll get into our picks here in a little bit for the Tour Championship coming up this weekend. But Bet365 is our new favorite app. It's got so many different options in golf to bet on. And they are the ones that pioneered in-game live betting. And they have the widest range of games and markets available for live betting. So if you're a guy or gal that doesn't like to log in or misses the start of games, or likes to bet on during the game while you're there, that's always electric. Bet365 is the site for you. You can turn $1 into $200 of bonus bets when you join Bet365. Download the app, deposit $10, claim your $200 in bonus bets as soon as you place a bet for one single dollar using the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Must be 21 and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. They, like I said, each way betting for golf, it doubles your wager and splits your bet into one bet on the player winning and another bet onto the player placing, which is what we do every single week. Now we just can do it with one click of a button instead of two clicks of a button, which makes it so much easier. We'll give you guys our picks for the Tour Championship. We're not taking Scottie Scheffler. Shocker. And we'll get into the whole Tour Championship scenario here in a second, but it's a fun, betting on golf is fun, and it actually, Mitchell and I will text each other during the week, and it drives us nuts because we want to give out winners and we want to be right. I think that's the key of betting. You just want to be right. But when our guys don't win, Denny McCarthy killed us this year. Viktor Hovland was on the winning end of that, so thanks for that, Victor. Victor's now cost you quite a few dollars, quite a few units this year, winning tournaments that he seemingly shouldn't have won, but better guy to win than a lot of the other dudes on tour. So head on over to Bet365, download that app, use code DNVR365. $200 in bonus bets, which we're still rocking, and we're still adding to our big bet energy each week. I also want to tell you guys about our friends over at Burrito Express. I think I have a trip to AZ coming in my future here in October for a little CU Buffs, Arizona State Sun Devils football, and I am going to be hitting up Burrito Express in Tempe. It's the best location. I'm going to get my burrito chimney style just because it's better that way. And their breakfast burritos with potatoes, I can't stress this enough. I think I say it every time, but breakfast burrito is not complete without potatoes. I'm a no cheese guy, but as long as you have potatoes, eggs, and I'm usually a multiple meat guy, big meat guy, especially in a breakfast burrito, bacon, sausage, chorizo. They have it all over at Burrito Express. So make sure you check out their locations if you're in the state of Arizona. They've got the best breakfast burritos there is out there. It's always our first stop after we leave the airport in Phoenix, which is a joke. A lot better now, but becoming less of a joke, but still a joke of an airport. But Phoenix is a great place other than in the summer. We're going to get down there for the winter and play some golf. So check out Burrito Express when you're down in Arizona. They have 6 different locations, all of them serving the best breakfast burritos and burritos that we've ever consumed. All right, the Tour Championship. Mitchell, you hate it. We've got a graphic here. This will kind of tell us where everyone's starting. So we've got 30 players in the Tour Championship. If you don't know and you're not watching on the YouTube, head over to youtube.com. Find us at Big Drive Energy and watch these pods on the YouTube. You get to see our great Pins and Aces gear, Mitchell's phenomenal hair today, and now this amazing graphic of the final 30. And as we know, Mitchell, I'll let you go off for a little bit. The leader starts at 10 under, and then it goes down the list 8, 7, 6, 5, 3 guys, 4 guys at 4, 5 guys at 4, 5 guys at 3, 5 guys at 2, 5 guys at 1, and 5 guys at even par. Nick Taylor, even with his 10 over is still Nick Taylor and Taylor Moore, both starting at 1 under this week. This is a true handicapped tournament, but in the opposite way. Like you'd see a handicapped golf tournament, but the other way. Like Scheffler should start at +10. Sepp Straka should start at even if this wanted to be an actual intense thing. But I'll let you go off for a little bit on why you hate this. Also, Sepp Straka can get bent. I'm not betting on him this week for the 3rd week in a row, but he was actually like top 5 last year at the Tour Championship. Had me thinking, but I'm not falling on that sword again.
No. My biggest issue with, in my opinion, anybody that's 7 shots back or more, it doesn't even have a chance. So it basically, this is a 10-man leaderboard, and even the guys at 4 under, that's a stretch, which include Max Homa, Patrick Cantlay, Brian Harmon, and Wyndham Clark, and Matthew Fitzpatrick. Starting 6 shots back, not really a chance. Lucas Glover, 5 under, doesn't really have a chance in my opinion. So that leaves it up to John Rahm at 6, Rory at 7, Hovland at 8, and Scheffler at 10. So I think it takes all the drama out of it, in my opinion. And that is, like, don't get me wrong, Scheffler has earned the right to be at the top of that list. But I liked it more when they had the separate, Tour Championship winner, somebody who wins this event, and put a lot of stock in that, versus it all comes down to this week and a dude starts with a head start. Like, at what point have we ever seen a sport where the final race, call it compared to a car race, the leader starts with a head start, and after that, like, everybody starts further and further back. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, everybody needs to start on a level playing field, in my opinion. So this is another thing that's fucked up. Maybe the PIF can come in and straighten this shit out too, and we can get some sound leadership at the top of the PGA Tour, because I just think this makes for a really lame weekend. I see Scheffler probably getting it to, including this 10, he probably gets it to 24, 25 under, and I wouldn't doubt if he won by 4 or 5 shots. So I think it just takes all the drama out of it for me. And at the end of the day too, it kind of takes the counting out of it too, because you can finish a certain spot in this event and still, like, move up in the FedEx Cup, move down in the FedEx Cup. Now it's just the exact same thing. Wherever you finish in this event is where you finish in the FedEx Cup. So I just don't like that at all. I think it's fucking terrible. But Spencer, you tell me, play devil's advocate here, because none of this makes sense to me. And I think I did this last year, but I'm doing it again.
Yeah, well, the thing that didn't make sense to me before was, like, if you had a guy like Nick Taylor or Sepp Straka, for instance, and they all start at the same level this week, and he ends up having a great week and winning it, he shouldn't win the FedEx Cup based on that. And so he has to have an otherworldly week because of where he's put himself in order to actually, if he shoots 9 under the first day and Scottie shoots like 2 under, he's all of a sudden in it. And I think it creates a little bit more of, granted, there's still money on the line for every place, and these 30 players have worked their ass off to make it here. But I think it's kind of fun because it maybe changes the way certain guys will play. Like a guy, for instance, like Wyndham Clark at 4 under, if he's starting the tournament level par with everyone else, maybe he plays a little differently than he's like, okay, I know I have to go from the jump. And Scottie Scheffler, I think at the top of the leaderboard, if you're looking at just Scottie and you're like, okay, like, he still has to play decent golf, but he doesn't have to play great golf to win it. And granted, like you said, he's earned that right. But I think it just makes it fun in terms of the way you watch it, where it's not like, okay, this guy's going to win the tournament, but is he going to win the FedEx Cup? It's like very clear and cut, where now if it's actually fair, I was thinking about this today. I didn't dive too deep into it, but is it fair that Scottie Scheffler is only 2 shots ahead of Viktor Hovland, or only 3 shots ahead of the field? If he had so many points that he should be at like 12, 13, 14 under, maybe that would be more of an interesting way to do it. versus I know you hate it in general, but like he has like every 1,000 points you have or 5,000 points you have, you get another stroke under par. Make it a little more not as uniform, even though I'm a uniform guy, where like he could start at 13 and some guys could start at 11 or 10 or 9. But I think it's going to be interesting after the first day. It's kind of fun to see where everybody else has realigned because, Scottie Scheffler's great and the best player in the world right now, but also not, golf is not a perfect game and he's not guaranteed to go out there and shoot even 3 or 4 under the first day. So if he shoots 1 or 2 and some of the guys at 4 or 5, 6, like Lucas Glover, I'm sorry, love the guy, but he doesn't have a chance. But if he shoots 6 under the first day and is within 3 shots of the lead, it kind of levels out and evens out. So I think there's a little more pressure on Scheffler. Granted, he has a 2-shot lead to start, but he had a 2-shot lead to start the back 9 last week at the BMW, and Viktor just destroyed him. So it's fun to see the guys that are a little more back there feel the need to go low from the jump and play maybe a different brand of golf versus just starting out and like, okay, even on the tour. And I think I was listening to, Rombo talk about this on a different podcast, but he said if you get through Augusta, and this is not Augusta, but just to relate their games and how they think, it's like if you get through the first 7 holes at Augusta even par, you're doing something right. And so that just goes to show you that players don't come out at every tournament and try to make birdie on every single hole. And that's something that on a very minute scale I've learned in my own golf game is like certain holes you just make par and move on. And my round can go one of 2 ways. If I don't make par on the first hole, it's generally not good for me. But if I have an easy tap in par, I feel really good about where I'm going. Now, like I said, my mental game is it's a midget compared to like, Yao Ming of these guys, but it really sets a standard for them from the first hole. It's like, okay, I'm already 6 shots back. Let's go out, make more, take some chances and try to make some birdies if I want to actually win this. And to me, it's kind of cool if somebody wins it that's not Scottie Scheffler for not only the reason their name is not Scottie Scheffler, but they get the chance to come back and it's like a comeback win. Like they go out and win the tournament versus Scottie Scheffler losing the tournament. Now he could shoot 3 over the first day and lose the tournament, but it's like that comeback effect. And I think it hopefully gets some of the drama. Like hopefully he does it. Even if he wins, I'll be okay with it, obviously, because he's earned it this year, but it creates more drama on Sunday, which is always what we're looking for. So do you want to get into our picks for this week at East Lake? Now they play the Tour Championship the same place every single year, so you can kind of go back and get some
prior knowledge.
Prior knowledge, exactly. And Rory won this last year, which was awesome. In terms of like just for the golf world and where it was last year compared to where it is this year. I don't think everybody's on as much of a ride as Rory, the Rory train as they used to be. But I think so I'll go into my picks once again, Bet365, use that promo code DNVR365 to get $200 in bonus bets. My 2 picks for this week, we're going 2 picks and a free bet. I'm going with John Rahm plus 1,000. There is a 25% profit boost on Bet365. So I'm going John Rahm plus 1,000 to win the Tour Championship. He's just a guy that I trust in this. Like, it's just like there's like 3 or 4 dudes where like when you go to big tournaments like the Masters, who do you trust? And John Rahm's one of those guys. He made double bogey on the first hole and still won the Masters. I'm kind of recalling that, and it's still insane to me. And then I'm going to go a little more of a long shot here and go Max Homa plus 2,800. He was in it most of the day or most of the event at the BMW. He'd be just a fun story to win the FedEx Cup. I think at this point he's locked into the Ryder Cup. He is, a kind of just a fan favorite. I think it'd be fun to watch him win it at plus 2,800. And then there's a bonus bet here, Bet365. It's on their website, on the app. It's Viktor Hovland outright to beat Rory McIlroy, and it's plus 2,500. So
that's insane.
I don't know what it means. So I'm going to be full disclosure here. I'll maybe do a little more research afterwards. I don't know if it means he has to beat him in the event, which even though he's starting out with a lead, Victor's
Yeah.
starting out the lead, or if it's just beat him. He has to beat him. Like if he starts at 8 under and Rory starts at, I believe, 5 or 6, if like he finishes at 9 and Rory finishes at 10, obviously Rory wins both of those, but I don't know if it's two par relevant, for them for the week.
Yeah.
Or if it's relevant for the whole event. But yeah, it's plus 2,500 and Viktor Hovland's the hottest golfer on the planet right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
And has the most momentum of anyone. So I don't know. Take it. Viktor Hovland over Rory McIlroy. Free bet plus 2,500. I'm in.
Yeah, no, I like that. I'm going to go ahead and take that right after this. So I'm going Patrick Cantlay. He's plus 1,800 to win. I think he is one of the few guys that can come back. I think he's starting at 6 under. So he's right there. He's 4 shots back. And I feel like the odds are pretty good. He's won here before, so I do like that. He knows Eastlake. He likes Eastlake. I don't really like betting on the most vanilla dude in golf, but here we are. And then I do have Rory plus 350. I know that's so asinine, and I don't even know how he's only plus 350, but he just loves this place. He loves Eastlake. He always plays well here. So I'm riding him this week, and we'll see if he can get it done again. It's not a major, so I think he should be able to win. And then we've got Russell Henley plus 7,000 as my bonus bet. He is, I feel like, a sleeper that could come out of nowhere. He's been playing very well lately. I don't really think those guys stand much of a chance, but at plus 7,000, I feel like it's worth throwing 5 beans on it. You know what I mean? Like just a little sprinkle on it and see what happens. Because there would be nothing more electric than betting a guy that's starting way off the lead and then he makes a push on Sunday. So I got Russell Henley plus 7,000 as my bonus bet.
I love that. And I think, it's a long shot. All of the guys, mostly at 5 or 4, like you said, are a long shot.
Except for the 4, Rory, Rahm, Scheffler, and Hovland.
Yeah, but I still it's just it's a cooler story if they do win. Like it's cooler than them just going out even par, everybody even par and winning this tournament. If they come back from like a 6-stroke deficit, they go out and fire crispy, 64, 65 on Thursday and put themselves right in it. It'll make for a lot more fun of a story, I think. So, yeah, it's a little lame, but I think the story could be, I think anybody other than Scottie winning it this weekend is like a really cool, exciting story. Now, Scottie winning it's like, yeah, he's the best player in the world right now. He deserved it. He won the FedEx Cup. He was leading the FedEx Cup all year. He won multiple events, etc. But anybody else, it'll be like, wow. Like Viktor winning last week was a pretty big story. And we could roll that into the Tour Championship this week as well. Before we get out of here, want to get into our weekly segment of Fairway or Fore. So last week, apparently I fucked up. Mitchell's Fairway or Fore was more about the Hawaiian shirt guy being creepy versus being the most fun guy at a party. But I put Hawaiian shirt guy is usually the most fun at a party. 52% Fore, 48% Fairway. So that kind of touches on your point that maybe he is the creepy guy and not quite as fun if people think there's a more fun guy at the party than the guy that's wearing the Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, I definitely feel misrepresented there. So that's I feel like it, but at the same time, I am Hawaiian shirt guy, so I don't necessarily need it.
So you're not the most fun either.
Yeah, I'm not the most fun, and I'm creepy, so that's just got me fucking hitting all the bases apparently.
And I knew I was going to get roasted for my take. A talkative Uber driver is better than a completely silent one. 76% Fore, 24% Fairway. People just don't like it. They don't like their Uber driver to talk to them. And granted, it was, the graphic's tough to make it as detailed as I tried to explain it. I just don't like it completely silent. Now, you don't have to chat my ear off and you lead the conversation. I'm not into that Uber driver. But, how's your day going? What are you up to? I love that. I'm all the way into that instead of them just being completely silent, not saying a word. But I knew I'd get flamed in that one. That's okay. We'll take those losses. Do you have what's your Fairway or Fore for this week?
Okay, so my Fairway 4 is I was at the gas station getting food for this little road trip that my girlfriend and I are on right now. and I got a Coke Zero because they were out of Diet Coke. And I guess, like, I don't know if this is just me being a thick boy or what it is, but I actually like Diet Coke more than Coke Zero. I think it's better.
Oh, I will actually go Fore on that one. I'm into the zero sugar. I never was a Coke. Like, I'd rather just not drink any soda at all than drink a Diet Coke. Like, this is circa 2019, probably 3-4 years ago. I wasn't into any diet soda. And then I started liking Diet Coke, but now I love Coke Zero compared to Diet Coke. Like, I am fully on the Coke Zero train.
Okay, I just feel like Diet Coke is almost its own specific like flavor, and Coke Zero just tastes like regular Coke. And maybe I just like Diet Coke more than I like regular Coke. And maybe it's just because I've drank it long enough where it just something about a Diet Coke just like hits different for me.
Well,
Not
and I
out
will say
Fountain is always better.
Fountain is always better, but Diet Coke in general, I think it's an acquired taste. But like you said, it is different. So once I think you're into that acquired taste of Diet Coke, you're not necessarily like loving a Coke Zero. So I think it's exactly what you said. For me, Coke Zero tastes less like Diet Coke and more like regular Coke. So
Yeah.
I'm into it for that. And for that, I'm in.
For those reasons, I'm in. I also, real quick, have you ever like tasted a Coke Zero and thought it tasted a little bit like a Sprite?
No.
Cl-
That's a hard no. That's not even close.
Close your eyes. Like, there's a little like fucking back end like flavor of Sprite to me in like a Coke Zero. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's weird. Marissa she probably doesn't care because she doesn't drink soda. She cares about her body and takes care of it as such. But for me, Diet Coke, it just has its own specific flavor, and I just don't really like the Coke Zero, if I'm being honest.
You want to chime in here? You Diet Coke or Coke Zero, or just don't touch it?
I'm a Coke Zero.
Coke Zero. Oh, we got 2v1.
But he's right. I don't drink a lot of Coke or any of that kind of stuff.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I know.
She's kind of halfway in, halfway out. That's fine.
1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
My Fairway or Fore this week is, and this is another touchy one, but like when I think about my Fairway or Fore, it's usually like during the week, and I put it on our doc. But I think one of the most annoying things in the world is when people throw their trash in the trash can that's already overstacked and then let it fall on the floor. So maybe I'll phrase it, on the podcast, you get that. Like, you can, if you're listening to this, you obviously understand that. Head over to our X account, DNVR. No, actually, Big Drive Energy.
I was going to say.
No longer Twitter, X account. Head over to our X. We post these every Monday, so you can vote on them. And vote for your Fairway or Fore, so we have some results. Love that. But like, I think it's human duty to throw your trash actually in the trash can. I think it's like one of the most rude things ever when you just walk by a trash. Like, I'll take my hand or my foot and push down a public trash can because it annoys me so much that there's trash falling on the floor. Like, I think it's so disrespectful.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I'm always that guy that takes like my paper towel and like pushes everybody else's down. I will not, unfortunately, I'm not that good of a citizen where I actually like pick up the paper towels on the floor.
Yeah,
I will like prevent it from happening any further. But yeah, that's like top 3 just human decency things like that, along with like returning your shopping cart and like holding the door for people that are like coming in behind you or what. It's just treat people how you want to be treated. Like, if you were cleaning up those paper towels, you'd be fucking pissed if it was all over the floor. So I cannot stand that shit. And when you just see somebody throw it or not even like try to like sneak it in the corner, you know what I mean? That bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah. So head on over to our X account every Monday and vote on our Fairway or Fore. We appreciate you guys all tuning into Big Drive Energy. Follow us on Twitter, X, at Big Drive Energy, on Instagram at Big Drive Energy Pod. Check us out on the YouTube. If you're not watching our pods on the YouTube, do it. You get to see our faces and some sweet graphics and Mitchell's good looking hair. I said it once already. I'll say it again. It's looking crispy. We can't see the top of his head, so all is well. That ends well. Good luck this week, bro. We're cheering for you. I'm excited to see where you finish and how you play. We'll get the full recap next week along with the Tour Championship recap. We'll start with the Rocky Mountain Open recap because that's more important. Have a fun time out there in Grand Junction. Booze it up. Play hungover, but do what you need to do. That's how we roll. That's on brand. Go shoot a couple of 68s, make the cut, make yourself some money. And to everyone else, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys next week with the recap of the Rocky Mountain Open, the Tour Championship, and more info from our lives and the PGA Tour. Have a great weekend. Peace.